Sure.
And we are back again. Diversity. You hit it
Yeah.
right on the nose, man. So, like you're saying, people are asking you the question, what's your diversity like? And your answer is, I don't know. That's correct in my books. You know, what diversity? Like that doesn't even come into the game. Is the correct answer not, we've gone out of our way to find this person and this person and this person to put a pretend puzzle together? In my opinion, that's wrong. Like when you're fishing people out to fill a role that you think needs to be filled is not treating everyone the same.
Yeah.
That's like
I think
finding pieces to a fake puzzle. It's no good.
I think the good idea behind it was to right historical wrongs that have happened. That
100%.
that is the idea behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm sure it has worked in some ways. The problem with applying it to people who already love and care about everybody and don't see that as an issue, it's not a problem, but it just I find I'm a little bit like, I guess it does bring to my realization that there is a problem out there too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like you do treat everybody the same, so you're
Yeah,
kind of like, what's this about? But hmm, I think we can all think of times in life where we were treated negatively because of some uncontrollable factor, and
totally.
so I don't want to say that it's not real, but yeah, I just wonder where it's going to lead, in the way of like, I just wonder. I just wonder. There's some real hard fast norms out there that are like, for instance, that Titanic, that sub that went down there.
Yes.
Did you hear about one of the comments made by the? Anyways, there was an interview with one of the shareholders or people that run the company, that he didn't want to hire. And I mean, I don't know if I have exactly the quote correctly, but it
Hmm.
was, he didn't want to hire 50-year-old white guys.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, I mean that's a good stereotype. Like I like that. I'm only 45, but that's a good stereotype, right? Like guys that have been through the run, been through the mill a bit. I don't know what the color of skin has to do with it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a stereotypical engineer or ex-military, or there's something there that I'm not totally grasping, being maybe Canadian,
Yeah,
but
totally.
but it just makes you wonder if it goes too far and there's consequences where it's not the best hire on something as dangerous as what they were doing. And
Right.
that's a I don't know if it's a pop culture thing. It's a tragedy that happened in our time, but it just makes you wonder. That's all. I
But
mean, we'll probably get canceled for this, but you know what I mean, for wondering. but
well,
but you know,
but I mean, the question stands now in my head of, if you had just found the person that could do the job the best and let them do it, would we be in this situation?
yeah,
I
yeah,
again, trying not to get too controversial, but the new Little Mermaid movie came out,
okay,
and it's a person of color. Who gives a shit?
okay.
I don't see it any differently. But my issue with that is, did you do that because of that? Or did
Okay.
you put everyone in a bunch of rooms where no one could see you, and who sang the best? Is that what you did? Or did you try and like do this sneaky, we're trying to incorporate everybody thing, which I have no problem with. Like you said, there are errors in our past that
Yeah, there
need to
are.
be corrected, but they don't need to be
Yeah,
corrected on a billboard once a year. It needs to be an everyday thing.
every day I
Um,
agree.
but I mean, I think,
We go through we go through these things, like smoking used to be this thing that was on every television show.
yeah,
Like, remember the variety shows that
absolutely.
we didn't watch it, but we saw clips of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we evolved out of that.
Yeah,
And I think sometimes activism helps us evolve out of things that are negative, and we go too far, we overshoot. But it's a very interesting time we're living in right now.
mm-hmm.
I've been hearing lots of different stuff, positive and negative, out there, but we're definitely changing something right now, and I
Yeah.
hope it ends up really positive. I hope it ends up awesomely positive. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a political person, so
Same.
yeah, I didn't think you were. No.
Politics and religion, I pretty much dodge about
Yeah.
as heavy as I can. Those are two arguments. Those
Yeah.
are two
You can't
arguments
win.
that there's no right answer. It's
Mm-mm.
all perspective based. And when I'm going to have a discussion on perspective, I need to be highly educated on the subject, and I have no interest in either one. So
No.
I'm never going to put the time in to have a real conversation with someone about it. So I don't.
Mm.
It,
I mean,
it,
like one of my heroes in life, back to kind of diversity, and obviously I never knew the person, and I'm a Canadian and I'm younger, was Rosa Parks from
okay.
the South, right?
Yeah.
And so she refused to sit at the back of the bus, right?
Hmm.
And she didn't care what happened to her. She was done going to the back, and that is
Yeah.
just like, in the right. If we weren't doing this, it brings tears to my eyes to think about the pride and the courage that took on her part, right? And it's like, um, so when I get like it to me, that's my hero, right? Like,
Yeah.
and could be tall, short, doesn't matter. The woman, she happened to be fighting against depression of her DNA that she was born with, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my heroes, people like that. And so when I get a survey about who I am as a business owner, you know what I mean? I'm not offended by it, but I'm like, man, is it this bad out there? And maybe
Yeah.
it is. Maybe it is that bad out there that we have to fill out these surveys. So, but anyways, yeah, just that is a part of our. It's pretty big in our day now, isn't it? Out there
It,
in life, do you
it,
see it? Yeah, do you see
I,
it?
I think it is. Now, I think it's kind of gotten into more of an attention thing than
Mm-hmm.
right. And I think the people that are there are always going to be people that abuse things for their own
Sure.
deal, right?
Yeah.
Kids that want extra attention are going to find the thing that is the most spoken about and
Mm-hmm.
they're going to grasp onto it. But there are
Mm-hmm.
also people that are like, I'm not doing that anymore. And that those are the people that change things.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not shocked at all when it's like, tell me about the diversity of your company, and you had to think about it because it just would not have come up. I think you would. There's no pictures on a resume.
I
You
know, I know, no, there's not. But I know the people I work with, and the customers and the vendors I have. I know that they come from different countries and cultures, and
Mhm.
I know that. But I just don't understand. I just don't understand totally. I mean, I do and I don't. And I think it goes to the past. I think it's more
Yeah.
a thing we're trying to fix that civilization in the West and maybe elsewhere did before. So no, I if it works, I hope it works.
Mhm.
I hope it works. So.
That could also be a mousetrap for somebody to go, everyone is Harvard educated and they all come from Arkansas and, or whatever,
Yeah.
where people are like, it's a problem, right? Like you gotta let everybody come and join.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that's what it was too. It's,
Sure.
yeah, this community that we're building,
Yeah.
I don't see anybody any differently. And it's the
No.
work. That's what I
Yeah.
love about it.
Yeah.
And so when we did that three-way event, we had I think as young as 23 and as old as 70 all in the same
Really.
room talking the
Really.
same shit about the same
Yeah.
subject, and
Yeah.
everybody got along. Men, women,
Sure.
like it was a perfect
Yeah.
high low of age, male female, skill set as well. Like Meg and Kayla are top tier finishers, right?
Mm.
We also had guys like Bill and Royce there that are like 70 top tier finishers. We had guys that
Mm.
are brand new. We have guys
Mm.
just getting their feet off the ground in their own company. And
Mm.
it was awesome. And I don't think it would have mattered if anybody walked through there.
Mm.
Whatever you are and however you hold
Mm.
yourself, stopped at the door. And everybody in here is a drywall finisher.
Mm.
And I loved it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's such a
That's awesome.
positive place.
Yeah.
Um, I know.
What about uh how the awesome like the programs like women in trades,
Mhm.
welding, automotive, drywall, framing. Are you seeing it on the job sites a lot more? Women that are working in the trades.
100%. I'm seeing it on the podcast. So I've
Okay.
had Lydia on here. I've had the tile
Sure.
chick on here, which is like
Yeah.
one of the major names in tiling.
Really?
Yeah, I
Cool.
had Brittany Farrow's Girls Can Frame is on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's by accident. I have had um, almost just as many women as men on here,
Okay.
but kind of by accident.
Okay.
And we're all just as good as each other. And kind of, you get those, um, shitty things that have happened to them on sites. But I think any of us
Yeah.
that are
No,
at
yeah.
that
That,
tier of
yeah.
integrity, right? It's we all think that it's ridiculous.
No, I know.
Um,
I know. No,
yeah.
that's the problem. I don't know how to get rid of that. I don't know how to mandate that out of male
Uh,
behavior. You know, I
that
don't know. I don't know. Right.
they'll all retire eventually.
Okay. An age thing.
I think it's an age thing. And I
Okay.
also think that when it comes with the age thing, you've got a bunch of guys looking to retire in the next 10 years that have
Sure.
kind of given up. They're fucking done with it, man. I got nothing
Yeah.
else to pay my bills with. I'm here. I show up every day.
Sure.
And now you've got a young woman kicking your ass on site,
Okay.
unintentionally, because
Yeah.
women, I don't think they all mean to, but they've got something to prove.
Okay.
Anybody that's any good at something started there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For
And
sure.
the first thing that you do is you attack what's different. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
little
That's a
li-
week. A week. Yeah.
little boys are always sticking gum in little girls' hair. You know what I mean, on the playground, because
Yeah.
that's just the way that it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that old boys club shit is going to be gone in the next 5-10 years. Like there's just all of us that were raised properly don't do that.
No, I
Um,
know.
and
Yeah.
and I think every once in a while there is on the stories of some of these people, they'll screenshot and post the shithead comment, and then like 1,000 people will see it. You got to know that people are reaching out to that idiot, going, "Where do you get off saying that?" Or will
Yeah.
when it's me, I comment right underneath. I reply like,
Well, if you first of all, if you email anything, the
mhm,
podcast you and I are doing right now, you text anything, you better be prepared for the world to see it and be okay with that. You have a private conversation, you pull someone aside, you phone someone. Maybe that's a little different. You're upset, you
yep,
misinterpreted something, or you've been let down by somebody. That's a little different. But first of all, like you gotta be prepared to own what you write on the web.
totally.
And if you got those feelings, well, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with someone who has those feelings other than hate, hurt or hate or anger or something like that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's not a winning mindset. It's it,
no.
it's just the
What
same
what,
as
what what did Cam say? What did Cam say? No one doing better than you will ever.
yeah,
What did he say?
yeah. Winners don't talk shit.
No, no one
No,
doing better than you would ever comment down. Like
that's right.
they won't do that. People who are doing good will not tear you down.
Yeah,
And that's maybe a sad statement about the people that are making those type of comments. Maybe it is, right?
yeah.
They're not.
Uh,
Maybe they're not doing so good, right? Maybe I don't know them, but
again, the other day, I'm trying to remember. I talked to so many people because of the podcast. Now it's a
sure.
mishmash, but we
Yeah,
had a conversation about, when you're posting stuff and you're putting yourself out there, there are always going to be people that want to smash on it, but it's
yeah,
because they've given up at some point, right? Where
mm,
they're like, you know what? I don't need more than this. I'm happy right here. But when you
okay,
get one step past that, they almost knee jerk defend their position. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes that knee
mm,
jerk is, you don't have to do that, or that's not how I do that, or I've been doing this a long time, or
okay,
right. And it's unneeded. But I think a lot of that stuff comes from being, I don't know, like uncomfortable in your own skin, kind of. Like
sure,
I feel like if you
sure,
got halfway up a hill and got half a sandwich, and at the top of the hill you got 3/4 of a sandwich, there'd be a lot of fucking people eating half a sandwich, going, I don't need a third. We're good.
sure.
I'm eating half a sandwich, but
Yeah,
everybody looking down at the top of the hill, those people know that they gave up. It's not the fact of the
mm,
sandwich; it's the fact that you didn't finish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you didn't push hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a lot of people out there that wish that they did more, but they don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that causes a lot of headache for the rest of us.
Well, yeah, life's a funny thing because I mean, we all kind of end up in the same place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if we live a long time, we end up old and hopefully still active, but we end up with our time draining down in
Yeah,
the hourglass, right? And we all got to kind of pick on the journey at what level we want to participate at.
that's right.
And maybe there's some people have feelings of they'd like to do a bit more, but they just aren't, and they see someone who's doing a bit more, and
Mm-hmm.
they maybe that's what's going on because we gotta it's a tricky balance for everybody. How much they want to work, how much family time they want to have, how much how much goodwill do they want to build with their like for you for who you work for, how much goodwill, how much extra time do you want to put in,
Mm-hmm.
what is overkill, what is value, what is everyone's got to pick their own place in that. And I think as you settle into yourself, you realize you picked your place or you
Yeah.
currently have picked, and you're okay with what other people are doing. But when you're younger, or maybe you've failed or been hurt,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you lash out a bit. Maybe.
Yeah, I
So
mean, that's the old story of you get bit by a dog once, you don't touch dogs anymore. Like
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah. And then you see someone else doing it, and you say, yeah, you warned them, right? You know
yeah.
like you. But yeah, I think anyone going out there and that's one of the first things I think I asked Cam and talked to you about, and other people like Phil, and I don't think I talked to Lydia about it or anybody else. When I do talk to people for a length of time, how do you handle the hate?
Mm-hmm.
Is what question I have, and I know you are not a guy that is intimidated by that,
No.
but you have feelings and you're a person, and like so how do you handle the hate if there's any? You probably don't get that much, but
Oh,
like do you
it comes in waves. So
really? Okay,
when you guys picked me up kind of as an ambassador. So when you quit the ambassador program and you started sending out
sure,
the monthly tools, when I
sure,
got picked up for that, and it was evident that I was going to be someone that got stuff every month, people
okay,
hated that,
okay,
and it was an issue.
okay.
And then it kind of subsided. And then when I went to, I got a fruit fly in my house. Um,
You've
uh,
been eating too healthy again.
yeah,
Right?
seriously. Yeah. It's like you leave a can out and it's like, okay. Um, when I
So
went to
you got some hate.
Vegas
Yeah.
was another one where I think
Yeah.
a lot of people don't get invited,
Sure.
regardless. And,
Sure. Sure.
and, same with BC, right? Like,
Yeah. Mm.
I didn't get a whole lot this time because I think I'm
Yeah.
starting to establish myself a little bit. But on the other hand, I don't listen to it. Like
Good.
the these people that would now, I also have the upside of being an enormous man. Like,
Yeah. You're a big
so
guy.
at the end of the day, it's
You're
not
a big
like
guy.
nobody's meeting me in a parking lot to make me feel uncomfortable, right? That's
I
my place.
no.
Uh,
From my personal experience, don't do
yeah,
that.
no, it just doesn't make sense.
So,
Um,
post something, but do not meet Sean in the parking lot.
yes, this is probably not a brilliant idea. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
the but the
Yeah.
other part of it is, companies don't, in my opinion, anyways, and I'm probably over speaking, but companies don't want to work with people that look like they've got a red flag on their back. Like this podcast, if you go on, I have hundreds of hours of me talking now. No, maybe not hundreds of hours, but
Sure.
like
Sure.
I'm consistent.
Yeah.
If I'm going to say something stupid, it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Of
But
course.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not damaging,
Yeah.
right? So you could be a phenomenal finisher and be an absolute red flag to a company
Mm.
where we would love to have you using our tools, but we can't do that
Okay.
because there's so much
Yeah.
toxic
Yeah.
shit around it.
Yeah.
Um, and I think people they'll realize that. When Aaron and I caught that ball game and we had a couple of the guys out, he got a message from somebody and he didn't tell me who it was, but it was like,
Sure.
you understand that he's not a finisher. And Aaron was
Okay.
like, no one said we were, right? We're
Mm.
we're a couple of guys going to see a baseball game.
Okay.
And that's kind of the part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, if I had invested 20 years of my life into something and then somebody walked in from left field and
Sure.
started getting more attention than me, I'd be pretty pissed too.
My thing on that is that I do respect everybody in their trade, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody thinks I do, like in my own community, like, oh, they think I do drywall because I make drywall tools, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I'm a metal worker, right?
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, I'm a machinist, if anything. So I would never pretend to be a finisher. I would never
Mm-hmm.
pretend to be anything like that, because I think people deserve to have their pride in their trade. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, like what, like how ram, like male sheeps will ram their head together, and bucks, and
Yep.
all these different natural things that happen in our world. I think that's kind of what's going on there a little bit. They're just saying, "Hey, I'm the finisher here."
Yeah.
That's kind of, and you know what? I'm okay with that in general. Like, I'm okay with that.
Same. And
Yeah,
honestly, whatever rings your bell, ring that bell.
yeah,
Just deal
yeah,
with it.
yeah.
A lot of people that I get talking to one on one, I downplay my skill set a lot
Sure.
because I don't want to be the one standing around going, I'm quite good at this.
Mm,
Right. Because there's going to be this discussion on time and all this other kind of shit. But
mm.
like big dog and Aaron just went down and got him a predator and
That's
show
right.
him how to
That's
run
right.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you've got like 6 months on the tools, right? Like my first tactical set, I think we're going 3 years now,
Mm.
but I don't say that
Yeah, no,
because
of course.
I don't want to fucking get into it. It's
Yeah,
if you want to see, come by site. You're more than
yeah.
welcome to.
Well,
And
I think what you're doing on this podcast is
mhm,
different than finishing. Finishing is what you get paid to do. How you raise your son, and you pay for your family. But I think what you're doing here is you're creating a community
yep.
with about 30, 40, 50 other people out there doing it. And I think the community is important. I think it is.
And I think
I
you got
really
to
do.
lead by example,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
hard, right?
yeah.
But if enough of us are doing it, Cam and I
It
are two
was,
peas in a pod, man. And we come from totally different places. And
yeah,
I
no,
think,
I remember, Aaron, like, I think it was more you that talked about it as the community, right?
mhm,
Like, someone may have mentioned it before, I don't know, but I was like, yeah, it has become a community where you guys link up and email, text, DM, whatever it's called, and you guys have a network, and it's kind of neat. You guys aren't alone, right? And think of all the people that don't text, email, DM,
yeah.
that are connected to you guys, and you don't even know. Like, like the content that's being put out there for your trade, the trade you're in, and the people that are watching it, the views, the enjoyment of it, and the pride people take in being part of it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, so just because you mentioned that, I did this thing on my stories the other day because I was so excited to see Aaron go see someone else and then them
Yeah,
throw on the black and white,
yeah.
like we got
Yeah,
another one. And
yeah,
I'm gonna see if I
yeah.
can pull it up.
Sure.
Yeah, so I put your logo, right?
Okay, okay.
And then through three stories, I was like, I'm not going to be happy until we're all killing it under the same flag. It has nothing to do with the business. It has nothing to do with market shares.
Yeah,
It has to do with community. A brand made in Canada that doesn't cut corners, a brand that's happy to spend the time making it clear that they're here for us. When I
yeah.
say buy Columbia tools, it's because I bleed black and white and you'll never change my mind. Right. And then, like I got DJ Premier on the back of it. Right. So it's cool. But
Cool.
those posts that I put out, there's a tidal wave of likes where
Wow.
people are like, fuck yeah. And,
Yeah,
it's welcome, right?
yeah.
We want to
Welcome.
see more people using the tools, and it has nothing to do with them buying the tools. It has to do with if we had a room and everybody wearing the merch was in that room and then another person walked in, there'd be a standing ovation every time, And
Yeah,
that's what
I
I
like
like
it.
about it. Yeah.
Well, that gives me a deeper meaning. I think I think for me, um my family, how we are going to make tools until we
Hmm.
die or some other thing happens, and we'll do it as long as you guys want them,
Hmm.
and that'll be dictated by our competitors if we can keep up with the or be ahead in the quality and innovation. That's like a market, it's just like a marketplace. So,
Totally.
but then the engagement through the community is what we love. And
Hmm.
also, you got to remember too, people think, oh, Columbia has these brand ambassadors and or people that relay our brand through social media. Well, that it's like an inside job or something. But the thing is you guys also hold us to account. We got to keep our standards, right?
Oh yeah.
Like you'll be the first to text us or some of the other people you've mentioned, right? So I like it. I like it because why would you want to do a bad job, right? Why would you want to get away with cheapening a product
Hmm.
or cutting corners? Why would you want to do that other than 10% residual growth every year, no matter what?
And
But
what
that's not
is
what we do.
that? You know what I mean? What is that at the end of the year? What's the dollar figure that you give up on all those things for? I can't
Oh,
think of one, you know?
oh, if you cheapen a product, you might like say you're making a product for $200 and you're selling it to the channel at 300 and they're getting 400. Let's just make up numbers.
Sure.
It might be $8
Yeah.
that you save by cheapening it, but it might become 30% less effective or 30% less long, like it won't last as long.
Yeah.
And it'll be $8 on a $200 sale to the channel, and then they mark it up.
Okay. So
So yeah,
no, go ahead.
no, I'm just letting you know that when I buy
Yeah.
products and they let me down over a $5 piece, I'm very upset.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's like, even if that's $1 million at the end of the year, $1 million is a lot of money, but it's not worth your integrity. And it's
no,
not worth letting down all the people that believe in you. Right.
no.
That's the other part of it.
I call it slowly selling your goodwill. So
Hmm.
you're kind of selling your company for your yearly profits because
Yeah.
10 years down the line you will not have the same company anymore
Right.
if you do that.
Yeah, let's cram as much money as we can make in the next 5 years, because after that, we're pretty much done.
Well,
You know.
no, for sure, because the CEO might be retiring in 3 years. He doesn't care.
Hmm.
I'm not talking in our industry. I'm talking in any industry. It
Totally.
could be theme parks, could be
Yeah.
could be a bicycle manufacturer. They get their bonus structure. They just want to make that money,
Yeah.
and then they'll retire, and it'll be the next guy's problem. So
Yeah. Squeeze the last 3 or 4 drops of blood out of this stone, and then I'm
yeah,
going to Maui.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
That
interesting to think of like that.
Yeah. Well, I hope somebody listens to this on their drive to work or
Hmm.
or at night when they're having a beer or maybe they, lunch break or whatever. Hope someone's enjoying your podcast. Hope it brings a little levity or entertainment or thought to somebody. I really enjoyed being on.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate you coming on. We got a little bit of time when I was out there to
Sure.
talk, and I was like, I gotta spend some more time talking to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed meeting you, and I could see that you're a deep person, and you put a lot of thought into things, and it was great. Cam and you were definitely a different mix. Him being from Ohio, you being from Ontario, and
Yeah.
it was great. But you guys got along great. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks so much. I always ask if you have any shout outs.
No,
Yeah.
not really. I'm not. I'm kind of become more reclusive in my life, and my only shout out would just be to the community, to the people that started it, to the people that you know elevated
Excellent.
it, and to the people that are rocking it right now. It's just great. I think it means more to people than we know.
Yeah,
So
I think so too. Well,
yeah.
thanks a lot for coming on, man. And there's
All
always a
right.
seat here for you.
Okay,
Um,
brother.
be humble, treat everyone the same, and do
And
your fucking
do your
job.
fucking job. See you later.